Enough is enough. No more pretending. No more excuses. No more somebody else will handle this situation. No more virtue signaling. No more, I tweeted about it, so I've done my bit. No more, I went to a protest, so I've done my bit. Stand up and take real, tangible action because the cracks are there. The openings are there. The parasites are there to be got at. Stand up for what you truly believe in or drop out. Stop talking about it. There is a way in which we can help fix our club now. It's tangible, it's palpable, it's achievable. But it needs people to stop trying to play the hero. Stop trying to prove that their way is the right way and take actual accountability, actual responsibility. That's all you need to do. Real, tangible action, responsibility. Get it done now because they're wide open. We can push our way through the cracks and force them out the club 110%. The Glazer family tried to sell £700 million share, a £700 million share of Manchester United to the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. Now, this happened back in 2019, and that is very, very significant, and I will move on to why a little bit later in this video. Back in 2019, a 30% stake was offered on the proviso of no interference in terms of managing the club. The fact that it was offered implies that the Glazers were losing grip. Those party lines have always been that the club is not for sale, not one element of it. But 30% was offered up. Of course, PIF, the private investment fund, ended up taking ownership of Newcastle instead for around £350 million. But this news may well embolden potential bidders in their determination to tempt the Glazer family to finally sell the club. Why is this key? Why is this key? It's from 2019, Terry. It's 3 years ago. Well, since then, there's been a global pandemic. Manchester United's debts have raised. Man United are making losses. Throughout 2021, Manchester United were losing £2 million per week throughout the course of the season. Now, they will talk to you about commercial partnerships of offset against the playing squad investment, and a lot of this was because of the pandemic, but it's a much wider and deeper issue. Money is all the Glazers care about. Anyone who tells you different, I'm calling it out now. No holds barred, they're liars. They're no holds barred, they're liars. They wanted £700 million for one reason and one reason only. When you boil it down, when you remove the financial jargon, when you remove all the complexities that financiers will put on top of it, the cold hard facts are they wanted to raise £700 million. Now, they weren't going to pump all that money back into the club, no doubt. They were going to take some of that money out of the football club. But they know that they are coming to a point where the club is going to max out, where they get to about the most they can ever bring in commercially, because we're fading as a power in football. In fact, we're fading. We don't challenge for the big titles anymore. We're no longer a superpower on the football pitch. The brand is big. The history is huge. But right now in the contemporary world, we are a decent team. We're never going to win the major honors on a consistent basis. Definitely not challenge for them on a consistent basis. It's all about money. They are trying to do everything they can to keep rising the price. Now, if they sold £700 million worth of the club to the Saudis, you do realize what would have happened. There'd have been a shoot up in share value. They'd have also then sold hundreds of millions of pounds worth of their non-voting right shares and raised even more money for themselves. Everything the Glazers do is to raise the ultimate value of the club and to raise the share price, because that's where they make the majority of their money. And Man United fans have got to act. We have seen the debt rising. The debt has gone from 419 to 514 million pounds, an increase of 22%. Now, a lot of that rise is down to the foreign exchange rate losses. We know that, pounds versus the dollar and all that jazz. But remember, that is going to have another impact. That increase of nearly 100 million, there is extra interest to now pay on that increased debt. Tens of millions of pounds more coming out the club there. And then what about the shirt sale side of things? And the reason shirt sales are important is that in 2 years' time, our current £750 million shirt deal with Adidas comes to an end. They circle a pumping around £75 million per year. If the right amount of shirts have been sold, there are bonuses to be made on top of it. Remember, the club makes around £5 commission on the shirt on shirt sales sold. And on top of that, any shirt with numbers and names on the back, the club takes 100% of that. Manchester United, okay, back in 2016, we're selling around 2.9 million shirts per year. That dropped in 2021 down to 1.9 million. So there are a million Man United fans out there, and I applaud you that have pulled your money away, but more needs to happen. Now, what you hear all the time is that, Terry, that buying shirts isn't going to make a difference. TV money is so much higher. You know, they don't even earn money from the direct sale of shirts. And this is where I've got to get tough. This is where I've got to get tough and stand up for my football club. You're all talking nonsense. You are making excuses for you not taking responsibility for the Glazers still being at the club. Everyone that pumps money into Manchester United is funding one of the key factors that they still own the football club. Not the only factor, but one of the key factors. If you give this club money, you are helping to prolong the Glazers' stay. You might prolong it by 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, but one day is too much. And I'll tell you as to why. They care about rising the value of the club. They care about rising the share price. That's why they are looking to sell off percentages of the football club. That's why they make signings based on selling shirts. Because when shirts sell, there's two ways they benefit. One is often share price rises, value of the club rises, they're making more money through those sales, and they make more money in the long term when selling the club that, by the way, they paid nothing for. So they sell it for £4 billion and they bought it for nothing. It's £4 billion profit. That's what they care about. That is the ultimate goal. How high can we make the valuation before we sell it? Can we maximize the most amount of money before we sell it? The second element is raising the commerciality of the club and, of course, the share price and everything along with it. Manchester United, and this is what's really interesting, my fans blow my mind. They don't want to take responsibility. Back in 2021, Man United's largest sponsor, Adidas, the largest commercial sponsor we have, who contribute, I think it's around 50% of our overall commercial income. It's around £75 million per year. It might be a bit more than 50%, to be fair. But either way, they were unhappy with the club's falling shirt sales. They are now lagged behind Liverpool. The German kit sponsor was not behind Ed Woodward's departure of the club. That was also spoke about. Blah, 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 blah. You read through the article, and they were very, very unhappy. Very, very unhappy at the way in which the shirt sales were going. What this means is the renewal of those shirt sale deals will be lower. So remember this. Remember this every single time. And I'm sorry to rant, but I've got to do it. Every single time a Man United fan says, but the shirt sales don't go to Man United. They might earn the bonus for a certain amount sold. But saying me buying the shirt keeps the Glazers at the club. That's not fair. It's not on me. It's not my fault that they're here. I'm not doing nothing. It's not my problem. No, it's yours. What are you doing? Did you go to a protest? Yes, I have been to protest. You are funding them. And this is why. Adidas, fuming with them. At the same time, Adidas are fuming with them. Read the bottom of the article. This was in May 2021. Read the bottom of the article. Reports have emerged in Italy that Man United have been in touch with Cristiano Ronaldo's agent over a return to Old Trafford from Juventus, a move that would significantly boost merchandise sales despite the global icon being sponsored by Nike. Manchester United biggest motivator to bring Ronaldo in was to increase shirt sales. And what happened? $60 million of shirt sales sold in 12 hours. Now, interestingly, Man United were earning around £5 for each of those shirt sales on average. So Man United were earning around £5 per sale of those shirts. So Man United made direct money out of it. Adidas got a £60 million boost to answer and to the responses of being unhappy with our dwindling shirt sales that have gone from on average 2.9 million to 1.9 million. And what did that do at the same time? There was an increase in the share price by $21 million. The Glazers sold their non-voting rights shares and made £187 million out the club. So don't you stand there and tell me for 1 single second that you buying shirts doesn't benefit the Glazers and doesn't keep them here longer. Every time you give this club your money, you prolong their stay. You are not accountable for their own behaviors. But they are here for one reason and one reason only. And whether that comes with us winning Premier Leagues or not, whether it comes with challenging for Champions Leagues or not, they don't care. They bought the club for nothing on leveraged debt. It's now worth circa £3.5 to £4.5 billion. They are looking to get that as high as possible before selling. And in the meantime, they take hundreds of millions of pounds out the club each year in dividends, and they sell non-voting right shares to raise millions of pounds more. The spikes in share price typically happen at the signing of superstar commercial-led players and often the sacking and hiring of managers. And they buy and they sell and they make millions, £500 million they've made through that technique so far. And you will all agree with me on one thing. They're only here for money. They only care about money. They don't care about the football. So stop giving them the money. I understand in the basic form, well, Adidas are already given us £75 million per year. So if I'm buying the kits or not, it makes no difference. Where you are right to a degree, is in that short-term period, you may not be giving the club much extra money at all. But if we all buy the shirts, Adidas renew, maybe for an even bigger amount of money. And you do realize if Adidas renew for 85, 95, 100 million pounds a year, new shirt deal, based on you buying it, the Glazers will stay longer. If we get a new shirt deal at that level from Adidas, if a new shirt deal from Adidas comes in at that amount, the share price rises. They make money. The value of the club rises. They make money. Now, unless they're going to turn us back into a superpower, which I know you and I don't believe they're going to do, who benefits from this? The Glazers. Just the Glazers. So do yourself a favor and get out of this mindset of I have to support my club by giving money and being at the ground. Match day revenues and the buying of commercial sponsors and participating in this commercial growth of the club is a huge reason why they're still here. Now, I understand the TV rights money is a massive part, but if you took away match day revenue, you'd ruin the club. Do you know how we know? Because clubs were all facing panic and ruin during the lockdown for a year because there was no one going to games. Tens of millions of pounds they all lost. They were struggling. Football was struggling. Imagine that, plus the commercial deals and the sponsors start to pull money away. You will make them sell. What then happens of you walking away and pulling your money? What it then does, it crashes the share price. They can't make any more money. The valuation of the club will start to dwindle because a big part of the valuation of Man United isn't just the land and the property and the brand and the name. It's its commercial strength. And if you kill the commercial strength, you lower the value. Now, the Glazers are always going to be able to sell and walk away making billions of pounds profit from us. It's there. It can't be stopped. But we can stop them from staying longer by killing the cash cow. It's as clear as the nose on the end of my face. And I'm putting out the challenge now at the end of this video. I'm going to do a live stream in the next 7 days. Live on the air. Anybody's welcome to come on and challenge me. If you can change my mind and or prove me wrong, that giving the club your money isn't a major factor as to why the Glazers are still here and won't sell, I will give you £100,000 cash. £100,000 cash prize for anyone that can prove I'm wrong. And if you can't prove I'm wrong, the question is, why are you still doing it? I want to understand why. They asked the Saudis for £700 million. Sponsors are unhappy with them. Debt is rising. Profits are down. The cracks are there. It's time to strike. But the question is, will Man United fans stand up and for once take tangible action and responsibility for their part in the demise of Manchester United? Hit the like and share button. Download the OneFootball app. And I'll see you all soon.